It is December 1st of 2025, which is absolutely insane to me. We are in the last month of 2025, the last month of the year. And so I wanted to go live and start the first day of the last month with you here. And I'll be live a lot more in December. So if you're here with me today, put hi in the chat. You'll be able to connect with other people who are joining us live. And I appreciate you so much for being here. You could literally be anywhere in the world, but you're either here live or choosing to watch the replay. And just know that I sincerely appreciate that. So there's two kinds of people, especially there's two types of founders, CEOs, or business owners that I come across every single year during this time of the year. And the first type is the type that will wait until January 1st to start doing whatever it is that they want to achieve in the next year. So they're going to start their New Year's resolutions or all of the new activities, the new habits on January 1st with everyone else. The other person is the type of person that will take December to start doing those things to gain a little bit of momentum and traction so that they start getting results earlier in the incoming year. So instead of maybe getting results in March, they'll start seeing results in the beginning of February, or they'll start seeing results at the end of January. And when I speak of results, who I'm speaking to right now, what I'm speaking about is really related to being the type of founder and CEO that is ready to go all in on marketing themselves. Not just on LinkedIn, but maybe on other social media platforms as well. However, today we will just be focused on LinkedIn. Don't worry, I'm going to be going live a lot more in December, and we'll touch on some of the other platforms that I'll be focusing more on in 2026. But for now, let's just talk about LinkedIn because it's truly the place where you have the least competition, you can niche, where it's the easiest to grow. And it's a great culture, so people will support you as you're learning to market yourself. And in this video, what we're really going to cover are the 6 steps to win on LinkedIn in 2026. And if you have no idea who I am, maybe this is the first time that you're seeing me, maybe it's the millionth time that you're seeing me. And in that case, I'm sorry for having to repeat myself. But if you don't know who I am, my name is Shanae Murray. I have almost 1 million followers on LinkedIn, 267,000 LinkedIn newsletter subscribers, and I've helped over 500 entrepreneurs grow their personal brand successfully on LinkedIn. Now, how did they do this, and what does my process look like? What are the things that I recommend for you to win, to do the 6 things in 2026? We're going to get into that. But it really starts with deciding that you're going to be the second type of person. Because let's just say that it takes 90 days, worst case scenario, if you do all of the things to start seeing results, the question that you have to ask yourself is do I want to start seeing the inklings of these activities by the end of March or beginning of April? Or do I want to potentially start to see those things in February or the end of February? March 1st instead of maybe April 1st or even May 1st, depending on how much you actually do. So just keep that in mind, especially if you're an expert consultant, high ticket consultant, you may have more time to market yourself now. So let's get into it. These are the 6 steps to win on LinkedIn in 2026 from someone that has almost 1 million followers on LinkedIn. Step number 1 is to position yourself for the person that you are looking to attract. And I know how simple this sounds, but I can't tell you how many people do not have an effective LinkedIn marketing strategy when it comes to this. You have to have one goal. That goal should be aligned with your business. So if within the next 6 months, you want to sell 2 times your core offer, you want to double revenue, you want to sell twice as much of your core offer, then the question really becomes, okay, who is the one person that's most likely to buy that offer with the least amount of resistance based on the data that we have in the business? Because that person may be different than the messaging or the person that you're currently attracting on LinkedIn today. And again, I cannot stress how simple but effective this is, because what people really don't realize is that Just like you would walk into a networking event and you would create 100 or 1,000 first impressions with people. Your LinkedIn profile is not just potentially a landing page for you. It could replace your website if you really wanted it to. There's many people on LinkedIn, many clients of mine that have been successful with just the call to action DM for a consultation. It's all of those things, plus it's also your first impression. And it's not just your first impression when people click on your profile. It's your first impression when people see what you look like when you're commenting on other people's posts or when the algorithm suggests people to connect with you. And if your positioning doesn't really match who you're trying to attract, if it doesn't resonate with them, if that messaging doesn't appeal to them, then there's going to be a disconnect. And that's where you may have people clicking on your profile. You may have people, viewing your content or getting impressions on your content, but they're not actually reaching out for consultations. Or if they are, it's the wrong people. That is a messaging disconnect. It's not your ICP. So I'm just going to show you one example of this, what it actually looks like, because I could talk about it all day. But the impression of a before and after will really answer all of those questions. As you are thinking of how to attract your ICP, you need to really think about what matters most to them, and not just to them, but to the AI that will potentially suggest your profile to them or your content to them, not just on LinkedIn, but off of LinkedIn. We won't go into this deep rabbit hole today, but there is now such a thing as AI search. So someone could be in the middle of a conversation inside of ChatGPT. They could be seeking someone's expertise, like your expertise, and they could ask for a list of suggested experts. And if you don't have certain authority signals on your LinkedIn profile, the AI may not recommend you compared to your peers. Okay. And again, I'm just going to show one example of what this looks like, because it's about first impression, it's about authority signals, and it's about positioning. I cannot stress how important this is, because for every single person that clicks on your profile, that's a potential prospect. At least one of them should show some interest, or at least subscribe to your newsletter, start engaging with your content. But if you're not positioned appropriately, you're just going to get a bunch of eyeballs and not necessarily any traction for your business. So I'm going to show you a visual of what this looks like. And if you have any questions, put your questions in the comments. I love questions. I'm happy to answer any of your questions. So let me just bring this up. Hold on. Can you see this? Yes. Okay. So let's talk about the difference here. Before is on the left, after is on the right. Just the impression of the professionality of it is a huge difference. Put after in the chat if you agree. Not only that, but forward-facing photos I see tend to do the best. So it's a more professional forward-facing photo. Your head should not be cut off in any of your profile photos. Also, when it comes down to the banner, you don't want the banner to be behind your head. You want it to be more aligned to the right. And in this case, because he just is going to have a lot of calls to action in his newsletters and in his content, there doesn't need to be a bunch of writing on the banner. It just needs to be what it is. He also represents a known brand. So if you represent a known brand, then you could just use a logo. There are some nuances to this. I don't want to get into all of it. But the point is that what authority signals are now in his headline? Number one, he's a board member. And he's a board member at multiple institutions. We won't get into that. But that is an authority signal. Number two, it's still personalized to his core beliefs. So faith is important to him. He does lead through the principles of faith. So he's a faith-driven leader. And that really aligns with who he is. So that matters. Who his ICP is, small business owners. And then he's also built a team of 90,000 people, which is insanity. It shows his team building skills and the fact that he is a leader for real and not just talking about it. And he's been featured in, a well-known magazine. He has press. So these are the authority signals that as you're positioning yourself on LinkedIn, a lot of people tend to take for granted. So they will have been featured in things like Entrepreneur or Forbes or wherever. They will have written books, but they don't talk about it. They will have helped a certain number of clients or have a certain number of testimonials, or they will have a certain number of sales. So one of my other clients has done over $100 million in sales. We added that to her headline because that's something that differentiates and is an authority signal. So your profile does not need to be cute, okay? It needs to be clear, and it needs to be, when someone gets to it, there needs to be a balance of this is an authority figure, this is a leader, but they're also approachable. And that's really the kind of calculator or internal grader that I use is it clear who this person is serving? Is it clear what they are doing? Do they look like an authority? Do they actually look professional? And do they also look approachable? Because I'm an inbound expert. So what my clients start to receive are inbound clients. And if you're too authoritative, it could also affect inbound. So there has to be a balance. But the point is that a lot of people that I see on LinkedIn that want to win on LinkedIn, they don't even have this straight. They don't even have one goal. They don't have one ICP. They don't have one call to action. And their positioning is either too fake, too cute, and it doesn't answer the question, why should I pay you over everyone else? And why should I trust you? Yeah, truth, Roy. Okay, so that's the step one is master your positioning. And if you want to learn about how you can be positioned correctly, if you wanted me and my team to do it, then just message me on LinkedIn. We'll get your LinkedIn profile right. But it really has nothing to do with the profile. It has to do with speaking with you, understanding what you want to leverage LinkedIn to achieve, and understanding what are the things that differentiate you over your competitors. Once that conversation is had, the positioning of the profile is secondary. So step 2 is start posting daily. I know that you may not want to. I know that you're probably throwing a fit. I know that you may hear other people say not to post daily. I don't care what those people say. I care what the data shows. And the data shows that if you post 11 times or more per week on LinkedIn, you will get the most out of your posts. The baseline of your post engagement, the impressions, everything will increase. If you don't believe me, you can research that data. Just put posting 11 times per week on LinkedIn. I believe it was research recently published by Buffer, which is like a huge social media app. And I didn't need that research. I'm in the trenches every single day with established business owners, and I see it in the data. When we post every day, when we up it to twice a day, maybe even 3 times a day, over the course of 6 months to a year, the engagement just continues to increase. Now, of course, that requires and necessitates a certain quality of posts. And I'll say this, that in the previous years, between 22 and 24, 25, maybe even the beginning of 25, consistency and just telling people to post every day would have made a massive difference for that person. And it could still make a massive difference, at least for a little while. But eventually, if your content quality does not also match the consistency, so it's consistent qualitative content, consistent quality, you're going to plateau and it's not going to grow. And you could potentially almost damage your brand at the same time. So you want to always post things that help the person that you are trying to attract. And a lot of people will say, well, then why will people pay me if I give everything away for free? Number one, I'm not telling you to give everything away. Number two, all it takes is one competitor to give everything away for free, and now you're commoditized. Number three, I could tell you from experience, I give a lot away for free. And the more that I give away for free, the more high ticket inbound I get, because at the end of the day, the people that want to do it faster will reach out, and they will know that they have to pay you for that, rate of acceleration to get results faster, to do it the right way, to not have to do it themselves. These are things that are all valuable. So just get into the habit of posting daily. At least 3 of those posts for the 7 days have to be videos. So and videos of you, not videos of cats, not videos of AI, videos of you. And when you share videos of yourself in 2026, going deep is going to be extremely important. What do I mean by what? What do I mean by that? In 2023, 2024, it was cute to be like, these are the 3 tips to grow on LinkedIn in 30 seconds. That's not going to cut it anymore. With the algorithms and inside of LinkedIn and even outside of LinkedIn, increasing your chances for even a video post to rank on Google AI mode or Google search. What they're looking for is this person actually an expert? And what signals expertise is the ability to talk about or to answer one question in maybe 2 minutes, because you're adding context, you're adding nuance. For example, if someone were to ask me, should the first thing that I do is start posting daily on LinkedIn? Number one, it depends. So this would be my video. If you have less than 4,000 LinkedIn connections, the answer is yes, because you have to get to 4,000 for a reason that I'm going to talk about briefly upcoming here. If you have, let's say, 30,000 connections, my answer would be no. My answer would be to launch your LinkedIn newsletter, because you'll have more leverage instantly. You'll probably get 3,000 LinkedIn newsletter subscribers in 24 hours. And then to create your first monthly live event, you could invite 4,000 people over 4 weeks. And then in the second month, they could start posting daily. There's even more nuance to this. If there's 2 people with 30,000 connections, one has been posting here and there at least once a week or once a month, and the other person has been a ghost for maybe 3 years. They haven't posted. I may recommend that the person that's been a ghost post for at least a month, twice a week or 3 times a week before we do all the other things. Why? To kind of revive their network. And if I were to answer this very coherently in a video, what is it signaling? It's signaling that I know my stuff, that I've been in the trenches, that all of these nuances, these experiences, these details, I'm not just superficially answering a question. Should the first thing I do on LinkedIn is post? That the answer that I give would be very different than the answer that's generated by ChatGPT, by Google AI mode, so on and so forth. And these are the things that you have to keep in mind. If your answer is not better than the generic answers that they're getting from these tools, then what makes you different? What signals that you're an expert? What proves that you are the expert that you say you are? And the answer is nothing. So that puts you in a very dangerous predicament. And so post daily, post quality content, and make sure that the content that you post actually helps the people that you're looking to attract and signals to people that you actually know what you're talking about. Step 3, launch your LinkedIn newsletter. So every single person here that's listening should launch their LinkedIn newsletter today. What is a LinkedIn newsletter? A LinkedIn newsletter is a series of articles that live under a newsletter. The difference between an article and a newsletter on LinkedIn is that the articles people can subscribe to. The newsletter, people in your network can subscribe to. Every single follower gets a chance. And when they subscribe to your newsletter, they aren't just notified inside of LinkedIn through a notification. They're notified through their email on your behalf from LinkedIn. So LinkedIn will send them an email and say, hey, here's Shanae's recent newsletter. The subject title of the email will be the title of that particular edition. And then inside of the email will be a preview or most of whatever I wrote in that edition. And then they could click back into LinkedIn. What does this do? This instantly allows you to circumvent the algorithm in a way, because now you're not depending on just the feed or just the algorithm to get seen. You have a certain list of people that will get an email. This is critical. You have more leverage the more followers that you have with this strategy. So if you have 5,000 followers, you should get 500 subscribers in the first 24 hours. If you have 30,000 followers, it should be around 3,000. So at least 10% of your following should subscribe within the first 24 hours. Now, where people go wrong is the title. So they'll do cute things like mindset tips. Everyone on earth will subscribe to mindset tips. So now you've just created a list of general subscribers, not necessarily your ICP. So just make sure that when you do launch your newsletter, that the title is a filter. Only your ICP should subscribe, or at least the majority of your ICP should subscribe. And you'd be surprised who will subscribe. Some of the biggest contacts that you have. What this also proves is that everyone who subscribes, especially within the first 24 to 48 hours, whether they engage with your content or not, they are active on LinkedIn. They had to log in, they had to see the notification, and they had to choose to click accept. They have chosen to subscribe. They have chosen to receive these emails from you, and they have chosen to want to learn more about this topic. This is a signal. You'll have a list of all of those subscribers. You'll see if they're first, second, or third degree connections. If they're first degree connections, you could just send them a message and say, hey, thanks for subscribing to my newsletter. If they're second or third, you could send them a message and say, hey, I saw you subscribe to my newsletter. Let's connect. I mean, just call out the elephant in the room. It does not need to be complicated, but starting to engage with those subscribers is important, because if you do, and if they, because of that, start to engage with your content, then every single time that they log into LinkedIn, you'll be one of the first people that they see. And as you get better at creating content that resonates with their situation, they'll be like, wow, this is exactly what I need. I'm going to go to this person's call to action. Step 4 is don't just launch your LinkedIn newsletter, but actually publish weekly. I know this is like, wow, this is a big deal, but you'd be surprised how many people will publish and then a month later they haven't even written their edition, and it's just a mess. So don't launch if you're not going to take it seriously. Don't launch if you're not going to publish weekly. Now, when you publish weekly, the same rules apply as content here, is that I should not read your newsletter and it should not resonate as you just scathe the surface. This is ChatGPT slop. This does not prove that you're an expert. This does not contain any of your experiences, any of your real life case studies. This is just, I could have gotten this in ChatGPT. I should not feel that way. I should not feel that you're not providing a new perspective, that you're not sharing a story that actually happened to you, that you're not sharing personal experience, that you're not sharing what has been working for you, what has not been working for you, whatever. I should know by reading it that, number one, it's actually yours. And number two, that you infused some like things that you may not agree with the majority of your industry about. So, for example, one of those things for me will be like prioritize live video over everything. And that's what I really believe. Only now is that even becoming semi talked about. But I've been saying this for 4 years. And so you have to stand on your beliefs. If not, you won't differentiate and your newsletters won't go anywhere. And then that's when people say, oh, I've published like 26 newsletters on LinkedIn, but I've never gotten a lead. As I read the newsletter, I'm like, this helps me do nothing if I'm your ICP. A good rule of thumb is, if I were your ICP and I read it, could I go at least do one thing that could potentially change my life, my business, whatever? If that's not the case, then why would I potentially reach out for a consultation? Why would I pay you? And the answer is I wouldn't. And people, we also have to stop underestimating the cost of a free consultation. Free consultation requires time. Free consultation requires me putting the 15 to 20 minutes on the calendar. Free consultation, I'm not going to book a consultation at this point unless I'm ready to buy from you. Maybe I have a couple of clarifying questions, but you have to have been already earned my trust for me to even give you that 20 minutes of time. And the higher level, or like the more executive your ICP, you have to really have that in mind. And so the daily content, the weekly newsletters, those are the things that will earn you like a pebble of trust every time. And then eventually that compounds to where they need the solution that you offer. They know that they need it, and they're ready to give you that 20 minutes. They're ready to hear you out, but they're already, you've already earned their trust. That doesn't happen without depth. It doesn't happen with cute posts. You may get seen with cute posts, but you're not going to prove your expertise and to start to really build that trust that you could solve this problem without that depth and that deep dive. And that happens in the posts, it happens in the weekly newsletters, and it happens in step 5, which is step 5 is start to go live monthly. And if you don't like it, then this is just the process that I work off of, and my process won't work for you. And you could go find another LinkedIn expert. But in my process, my method, and I say this because of experience, but I also say this based on the data. Start to go live monthly, no matter what. No matter if you don't like it, no matter if it's scary, no matter if you've never done it before, why? People come to me and they say, I want more engagement. I want to build community. I want a stage. I want to build my expertise. I want to understand more about what people want. All of those things can be answered with one thing, and it's live video. I want a strategy that can help me beat my competitors and give me more attention, give me more time share on the videos, give me more views, live video. I want to be able to systematize a way for me to create short form video clips all the time, live video. This live video could be like 12 video clips, and I could do it daily. I want to create video, but I don't want to have to spend 2 to 3 hours editing on the computer. It's too much for me. Live video. Live video. All of the answers to your question. Somebody asked me the other day, what's the one thing you would tell me to do to increase sales in my business? This is based on the data, okay? Average conversion rate on a landing page or on-demand video is 1 to 3%. Live video is 10 to 30%. Live video, live video, live video. Go live at least once a month. The leverage that you have on LinkedIn is that if you have 4,000 connections or more, you can invite 1,000 people to your live video event every single week up to the 4,000. So even if you did one a month, you invite 4,000 people, 500 people accept the invitation on average, 70 to 100 people show up live. So that also eliminates what if no one shows up? Even if no one were to show up, it doesn't matter because there's replay viewers, but people will show up, especially when you send 4,000 invites. And if you prove your expertise to the right 70 people that are live, and they will be right because the title of your live should attract only your ICP, you're just pouring all of the odds in your favor. Even if you get 3 calls and you close 1 client and your ticket is $50,000, that could be an additional $50,000 a month for your business. Go live. And step 6 is double down on the data. So another thing that people do is they'll just post into perpetuity. They'll go live and then they'll be like, I don't know what to do next. It's like, let's look at what you did for the last 3 months. And there will always be outliers, massive outliers for the weekly newsletters, massive outliers for the live video events, massive outliers for the daily posts. Those outliers you can leverage for other things. So for example, if I do a live and it's a massive outlier, I am going to definitely prioritize the video clips of that live. I could retry it again. I could turn it into a YouTube video. I could turn it into an on-demand course. There's a million things that I could turn it into a book if I wanted to. There's a million things that I could do with it. But the point is that the market is telling me, hey, I want more of this. And so that's also the power of the consistency in the beginning, is that you're getting a lot more data. Your feedback loop is shorter. And you're able to double down on the things that matter most and that drive the needle the most on the back end, as long as you track that, compared to competitors who are maybe posting 1/10 of the times that you post, going live once a quarter or never, so on and so forth. So these are the 6 things that you should do as an established business owner to win on LinkedIn in 2026. and you'll see you could just date this. They'll age really well. And just look at the live video data. It all engagement increases, your views will increase. People will watch live video for 10 times longer than an on-demand video. It requires no editing. And if you're a true expert, you have nothing to lose because you actually know what you're talking about. So that's that. I will see you tomorrow. I'll be live tomorrow as well, and maybe even a little bit later on YouTube. I'm not sure. But I'll be live almost every day in December. And it's fun. I love it. So God bless you, and I will see you later. Ciao.